This is a tough video for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I remember the night when you flew your Britain Defender, your Waco Fleer aircraft over my home outside of Conroe, Texas, with your little escort helicopter and dumped flares all over the roof of my house. I remember the night when the FBI tried to burn my home down southeast of Conroe, Texas, because I wouldn't shut up about the massive bank and savings and loan frauds and crimes happening all over Texas, with little pieces of crap like Agnag Khashoggi and your little pal Ghebbanifar and that whole bunch around Michael Atkinson and Roland Carnaby and the Bin Ladens and let's see, Oliver North and Richard Secord and Admiral Poindexter and Joanna Herring King and Congressman Charlie Wilson and the Bushes and the Reagans. When you were running your filthy little black operations wars from the Houstonian Estates on the West 610 loop just across the highway from the Memorial Park in the Houstonian Estates. Right up the freeway there from where Roland Carnaby was gunned down, where 50 bullets were pumped into Roland Carnaby. So, ladies and gentlemen, when Christopher Wray gets on the international news media and endorses his agents and just says, we've got a couple of boo-boos going on here, and nobody tried to rig the national elections. Horse shit, Ray. Horse shit, Ray. You and your pal Comey and Mueller and your whole bunch over there at FBI have been dirtier than hell for decades. And everybody in this country knows it. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the Clintons and the Obamas and the Bushes have massively enriched themselves from the gigantic lootings of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the savings and loans, the gangster banksters. It goes on and on and on. FHA, HUD, the Veterans Administration's loan programs. This giant mess of the missing trillions directly involves the FBI up to their stinking eyeballs. Rigging national elections, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So for those little freakazoids that burnt the Davidian compound to the ground, to those freaks that went up to the front doors of a Christian retreat full of children with automatic weapons, you see, folks, Mr. DeGuerin, Dick DeGuerin's defense of the Davidians included the way all of those videotapes of the initial assault at the Davidian retreat were destroyed. Just like Hillary Clinton's tapes and computer servers and devices were all wiped and all the records were destroyed. The initial assault at the Davidian retreat in Waco, Texas, all those tapes were destroyed as well because those were automatic weapons, Mr. Christopher Wray. There's a lot of people in this country in the military that know the difference between a select fire MP5 and a fully automatic MP5. And a lot of people in this country understand the AR-15s and the M16s that were used on the initial assault at the Davidian retreat in Waco, Texas. And all the gun running. The Southwest Depot, Oliver North, Secord, Mike Atkinson, Roland Carnaby, Bobby Corson. We can go on and on and on. From Senator John Tower to John Connally. Old John Conley and his little pal there, Whitey Bulger. John Conley, former FBI agent John Conley, and his Whitey Bulger pals down there in Houston, Texas. Isn't this interesting stuff? Kevin Brady and Judge Barb Sadler and Nelda Luce Radabow Blair. She used to be CNN legal analyst there for old Ted Turner. Old Nelda Blair. Luce Radabow, whatever your name is, Nelda. You see, folks, the massive savings and loan and banking fiasco that came out of Texas directly behind the financing of secret black op warfare. Correct, George Bush Sr.? Correct, George Bush Jr.? So when Christopher Wray comes out and said, oh, we've got a couple of boo-boos and there was no bias and, you know, we didn't cover up for Hillary and Bill Clinton. Horse crap. You know, the stuff on the floor of the Astrodome during rodeo season. Horse crap. And Christopher Wray, you know, Comey and Mueller's little interactions with USB Bank and HSBC and that little gang around DocX and Loan Portfolio Services and all these other swindling mortgage scammers like the Western Bank Houston. The Western Bank Houston. Pretty interesting gang of thieves. Huh? Nelda Luce Radabow Blair. And let's ask the city attorney for Conroe there, old Marcus Winberry. Interesting little gang of thieves. Correct, Marcus Winberry? And here's a name that everybody should know. The White Elephant Lady. She was selling the white elephants. She was hawking the white elephants for the FDIC. Come on down, Catherine Wolford. Good old Cat Wolford. The consultant to the World Bank. You know, the lady worked for USAID and Bearing Point. Good old Bearing Point and Carlyle Group. Setting up the new banking system in the green zone. That Catherine Wolford. Come on down, Sugar Pie. Because the crookedest banks in Houston were behind the sons of bitches who robbed this country for how many hundreds of billions? Now they've stolen trillions. Trillions, ladies and gentlemen, right up in smoke. And Christopher Wray has faith in his agents? What an absolute... It's a joke. It's an ugly, malicious, dirty, filthy joke. And Sessions, you know something, pal? I just listened to your rock and roll band from back in the 70s. Man, you sucked. Your voice, you sound like a squeaky little rat. You sound like a rat with a guitar. Jeff Sessions and his marijuana-laced music career. Old Sessions, Mr. Two-Faced. You're two-faced, Jeff Sessions. And what's happened in this country with the massive looting of American financial institutions? What's happened with the hundreds of billions and trillions that have been stolen out of the banks and the financial system? That's how they rig elections. This is how elections really get stolen. And if you take a look at the major campaign contributors to the Clintons and the Obamas and the Bushes and the Reagans and even to Mr. Donald Trump, you've got some of the biggest bankster gangster sons of bitches that have ever come down the pike. Cover up? Yeah, that's what they call them. They call them whitewashes and cover-ups. Just like what happened in Arkansas, right? Billy Bob Blowjob. Oh, I did not have sex with that savings and loan, and I did not have sexual relations with the Arkansas Industrial Development Bank. You're a lying sack of garbage, Clinton, and everybody knows it. And your wife is worse. And Chelsea, you're just a flake. Chelsea Clinton's nothing more than a flake. She's the devil child of Bill and Hillary. So folks, when you take a hard, long, deep look into where all the trillions have vanished to, follow it right to the DNC and to the RNC. And that's to my friend up in Salt Lake City there, Rocky Anderson, and his friend Jana Lee Tobias. Rocky Anderson, you know who this is. This national financial system is rotten to the core, just like the FBI and the Department of Injustice. America, you've been bamboozled. America, you have been flim-flammed on a massive scale. And the Clintons and the Bushes and the Obamas and Mr. Donald Trump, you want to do some swamp draining? Well, this video's no joke. This video's no joke. Take a look at the escapades of Mr. Khashoggi and Mr. Ghorbanifar and the Bin Ladens and Mr. North and Admiral Poindexter and Secord and the whole little gang around Michael Adkinson. You see, ladies and gentlemen, Adkinson Furniture, Conroe, Texas. Say it one more time, Adkinson Furniture, Conroe, Texas. That was his brother. Right next to the Piggly Wiggly, I swear to God, just to the south of Moore Brothers Lumber. Ask old Carter Moore and the Moore Brothers from the old Moore Brothers Lumber Company. They know what I'm talking about. And that FBI office at T.C. Jester and that courthouse down at 515 Rusk and that sorry little slime dog son of a bitch, James Baker III. Good old Jimmy Baker III. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. Right along with Alan Barb Sadler. How about it, Judge Sadler? Don't you find this amusing, how they tried to burn my home down with a helicopter and an airplane? Isn't that funny? You remember that conversation with Sheriff Guy Williams, don't you? Yeah. Sheriff Guy Williams. With him, have you got something to take out a helicopter? And the answer is, boy, they're lucky they didn't come back. They're damn lucky they didn't come back, try to burn my family home down. Talk about abuse of children and criminality in an attempted arson using government aircraft. The same Fleer, the same Britain Defender,